Hunter Biden is in the spotlight again today, this time inside a Los Angeles courtroom, later where he will face 9 federal charges for not paying $1.4 million in taxes. He could face up to 17 years in prison. Prosecutors say Hunter Biden was living a wildly extravagant lifestyle. That's not exactly breaking news. It was going on for years while cheating Uncle Sam. Yesterday, Hunter Biden, with that shocking stunt, crashing his own contempt resolution hearing, storming into the Oversight Committee proceedings and later storming out. 2 committees that day passed the resolution holding him in contempt of Congress for defying a subpoena. A full House vote is likely coming this next week. First Lady Jill Biden with reaction.
I think what they are doing to Hunter is cruel. And I'm really proud of how Hunter has rebuilt his life after addiction. You know, I love my son.
Doesn't wipe away the $1.4 million you owe in taxes, though. A new column with the headline, Hunter Biden's crashing of Congress cracked reality and is making his family look like a circus. The New York Post cover calling Hunter a son of anarchy. Republican Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona, member of both those committees that were meeting simultaneously on this issue yesterday, Judiciary and Oversight, also co-chair of the Border Security Caucus. Boy, we could talk for hours with what you are doing. But you were in the room, you were in the hearing room as all of this was playing out. What is the fallout very next day today?
Well, I think what I've come to the conclusion that the Democrats want us to not call him at all, but they keep saying they want him to testify publicly. And I'm almost to the point where I say, you want him to testify publicly? Let's have him come in and testify. No privileges, no scope. We'll just do it. And guess what? He'll take the fifth probably 200 times because we have a lot to ask him. But what a way to show contempt, Harris. I mean, he first went out and had the press conference the same time he was supposed to be giving the deposition. And then he comes into the hearing to ostensibly say, here I am to testify. And yet when somebody on our committee starts asking him questions directly, boom, he is up and he is out.
Yeah, that first time he defied it was all the way back in December, and then he shows up just before the deadline, and there he is. Look, quick question for you, because there was a time when a show of hands was asked by one of the Democrats, who in here wants to hear from Hunter Biden? Why didn't Republicans raise their hands? And why not just just start the process right then and there before the whole country with 2 committees watching?
Well, I was probably in the other committee when that would have happened. I would have raised my hand. I want to hear from Hunter seriously. I think all my colleagues do as well. But that was just gamesmanship on the part of the Democrats. I mean, the Democrats, you spent 8 hours yesterday, and they didn't really want to talk about Hunter Biden and what was contempt, where he actually got a subpoena and didn't come. They just wanted to distract from it, talk about everything else.
Well, the White House didn't want to talk about it either. Our own Peter Doocy pressed the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, on Hunter's surprise appearance. Here it is.
And Hunter Biden on Capitol Hill today. How big of a headache is that for you?
Hunter Biden is a private citizen. He is not a member of the White House, as you know, and I just don't have anything else to share.
But the last time he was on the Hill, he said the president was certainly familiar with what his son was going to say.
I did say that, and what I'm saying today,
that President Biden does not help him with his business deals, but he does help him skirt congressional subpoenas?
That is not even true. That is a jump. I don't have anything else to share.
Your reaction?
Well, I laugh, and he violated it. He's going to be held in contempt, and he should be.
Hunter Biden. There you go. All right, I mentioned the border security, that you're co-chair of that committee, too. Lawmakers clearly are split along party lines at the first impeachment hearing for Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. This.
Secretary Mayorkas is the architect of the devastation that we have witnessed for nearly 3 years. Secretary Mayorkas has repeatedly lied to the American people and to the United States Congress. Our investigation uncovered more than 100 instances where Secretary Mayorkas misled the public.
Republicans recently rolled out their impeachment proceedings against Secretary like a pre-planned, predetermined political stunt it is. Republicans want to throw political red meat to their base and keep that campaign cash coming.
First of all, Congressman Biggs, we got to revisit this idea of what a stunt is, because Democrats definitely know what it is because they pulled one yesterday. House Republicans are hoping to get rid of Mayorkas. They're blaming him and the president's policies for the raging Biden border crisis. And I go back to you. And what's happening with the impeachment?
Well, so they're going to take a vote, I think, next week to refer that to the whole House. The whole House will then vote, and then it'll come to the I don't think it's going to come to the Judiciary Committee. I think we'll start a hearing at that point on the floor of the House.
Are you anticipating that there will be Democrats who would vote with you? I mean, if you think about it, Mayorkas would be a good scapegoat potentially for them, because I don't think anything's going to change with or without him. But
well, they should. If they really care about the country, they would, but I don't think they will. I think it's going to be a party line a vote. Harris.
Does getting rid of him help move forward in any way fixing the border for your side of the political aisle?
It does in some instances, because hopefully we would get somebody in there who doesn't lie to us. I mean, Secretary Mayorkas lies to Congress, misleads the public, and we need somebody who at least confess what you're doing, that you're emasculating and not following the law.
Look, I know you're also busy in hearings, so I'm going to share this with you. Congresswoman Kamek of Florida was on with me earlier this week and said she was told by Mayorkas in an open hearing, so there were other people around, you won't like the person who comes next. That sounds almost like a threat, so we don't know what it means, but it's interesting. Congressman Biggs, thank you very much. I look forward to the next time.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.